Welcome to So Many Receipts. I'm Shelley Seddon.
And I'm Fleur Michelle.
And we're two entertainment journos based in Sydney, Australia who love to analyze and talk about all things reality TV and pop culture.
In Deep Dive, we go all in on stuff we're dying to know about, plus chats you won't want to miss.
Welcome to our special and just like that Deep Dive pod, which we jokingly call, I couldn't help but wonder, what the hell have they done to this show? So this week, the third time was the charm. This is the third and hopefully final Aiden and Carrie breakup. Thank God.
So you're on the side of Carrie in this breakup, but I'm actually on the side of Aiden.
What? How is that possible? Like, we have so much to unpack. So let's start the episode with Carrie swanning into the townhouse. And of course, the first question is, what the hell is she wearing? I actually don't think it's a good episode unless you ask at least once what the hell someone is wearing. She has gone from Mormon Wife to Milk Maid.
It was this green corset dress over a white shirt.
Yeah.
Was it vintage?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think corset dresses and the over the shirt look is in at all in this present day and age. Am I wrong?
Well, it's not vintage. I looked it up. It's by a designer named Lena Hoshek, but I don't know who that is. But yeah, I'm not loving this look.
Yeah, and we saw LTW also in another huge, I'm talking humongous statement necklace, sporting a weird clutch purse that looked like weeds from the garden. Her massive necklaces are hysterical. They kind of look chic.
Yeah.
But I think she's the only person in the world who can get away with them. I personally would not dare.
Yeah, I agree. So Aiden is still in town, and so he's in the garden hanging out with downstairs Duncan. And Carrie specifically told him not to talk with the neighbor. She told him Duncan was not a hangout kind of friend, and she was trying to create a boundary, which Aiden deliberately crossed. So Aiden was clearly sussing out the competition, and he needed to get a read on Duncan. And when the three of them are sitting at the garden table, it is so awkward.
Yeah, it was, but and I think it was weird that Aiden decided to check up on him, but I could understand why he wanted to investigate. He's feeling threatened.
Yeah. Well, when Aiden asked, what's the deal with the pipe, I thought Duncan's answer was actually interesting. It's part of his writing process. It brings him closer to his characters in a certain time and place. But Carrie was mortified. I was watching her face because Aiden just seems so unsophisticated compared to Duncan.
But I would have asked him about the pipe as well.
Yeah.
Because who smokes a pipe these days besides old Greek men? Plus, who also smokes in front of other people at the table these days? It's so rude. I did feel a little bit of a sting for Carrie when Aiden said having kids was the best thing he's ever done. We assume that all parents already feel that way. It doesn't need to be said out loud just to kind of make a point or make someone without kids feel excluded.
Yeah, I agree. And this whole underlying theme of the episode is that Carrie once cheated on Aiden. It is insane that this ep is all about Carrie cheating 25 years ago when Aiden cheated a few weeks ago. But his cheating is never mentioned.
But I think Aiden was right to be suspicious of Carrie spending so much time with Duncan. I don't blame him for having trust issues 25 years later. She should have handled this all more sensitively. She knows what his triggers are. I feel she should be bending over backwards to make him feel secure and not sort of say just, deal with it.
Well, I feel Carrie has bent over backwards this entire relationship. She's moved house. She said she'd wait 5 years for him to sort his shit out. So Carrie and Duncan are having a writing session, and Aiden knocks on the door and is like this big Labrador and interrupts, their process. I've got steaks. What time are you coming up? They are working. Get lost, loser. Read the room.
But don't you think she could have just broken up that meeting to go and eat a steak and just resumed the rest of the chat another time? Wouldn't you have done that? You have to eat. Like, Duncan would have understood that. Anyone would have.
Well, I can't really picture Carrie eating a ginormous steak, this hunk of meat. But Carrie finally does come upstairs hours later, and the raw steaks have been left on the counter. So passive aggressive. I would like to say, we know that you're rich, but there's a cost of living crisis. They were probably very expensive steaks. Then Carrie just goes upstairs. There are cockroaches in New York. You've had rats.
Those steaks would have cost so much, and they look delicious too. Did they end up eating them?
I don't think so.
I mean, I didn't actually care about him or her. I was just worried about the steaks.
I think they left them out all night.
What?
And she just goes into the bedroom and she assumes everything is okay.
Oh,
she
God.
clearly didn't get the message from the steaks being left on the counter. So she gets in bed and he's like, "Get away from me, you smell like smoke, take a shower." That would have been so triggering for Carrie because he hated her smoking. He was shaming her.
But he just said that because he was hurt
yeah.
about the whole spending time with Duncan thing and feeling that that was more important than having dinner with him. I mean, he's only just got there. He's only just put his shoes under the bed. Do you not see his point of view at all in any of this?
She's already cancelled one writing session to have dinner with Aiden.
But she sees this man downstairs all the time.
Can they not be apart for a few hours?
But he just got there.
But Aiden and his duffel bags are staying for a while.
He barely put his shoes under the bed.
Well, so the next day, Carrie accuses him of deliberately stalking Duncan. How dare he be out on the terrace? So these two don't normally fight, not even when Aiden cheated on her, but this time the F-bombs are flying.
Okay, I did like how they were finally having a real conversation and not acting like everything is perfect.
Yes, so Carrie needs to take a walk and cool off, so she goes to her safe place, a place where she feels comforted, a place that will make everything all better. The shoe department at Bergdorf's. So I actually loved this. And we get a surprise cameo from Andy Cohen himself. And Andy was reprising his role as a shoe salesman from Sex and the City. And in the original, he was working at Barney's, which has sadly closed, R.I.P. Barney's. And now he's moved to Bergdorf's, and we find out his name is Daniel. But unfortunately, even new shoes can't make this mess better.
So, you were shocked to see Andy Cohen's face suddenly popping up. But the reason why he does suddenly sometimes appear in this show is that in real life, SJP is one of his best friends. I thought it was fun. I'd like to see Andy have more lines.
Yeah.
Because they had that other reality TV star, the real estate guy, Ryan Serhant, do a cameo. He got a lot of lines. People would be more interested in Andy than Ryan.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so Carrie's at the shoe store and Aiden sends her a text and they meet at a restaurant, but Carrie flips out when he says he has issues trusting her with other men. So she says she's done everything right this time and says, "I was 100% in." So Aiden calls her out for saying was, and that's basically the nail in the coffin.
I do think the situation with Aiden's family problems is a lot to deal with for her. Plus that proposal of his, "Please wait for me for just only 5 years," was stupid. But I think Carrie could have talked him out of it. I feel like we never really saw her trying to work on the problems with him. Instead, she did that "I just can't do this anymore" speech in the streets. She basically broke up with him over Dunkin' Donuts. A 20-year relationship ended because of Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, sometimes love isn't enough, especially with blended families. And I do think the family thing was just too much to overcome.
I have to say, I do think that SJP's acting in the breakup scene was phenomenal. She is such a good actress when she gets the chance.
Yeah.
And she's kind of, this whole series, people are sort of saying, well, she mopes around being a bit depressed. Yeah. I mean, this is a chance for her to show off those lines. It was a good scene.
Yeah. And I also loved Carrie's white outfit in the last scene. I die. I'm starting to channel Rachel Zoe again. So Carrie's got her groove back. This is the Carrie we want to see. The glamorous, woman out with the girls, not as a stepmom and making herself small for some country bumpkin.
Well, I don't think Carrie and Aiden were the best match in the world. I never did. He was always this country guy at heart, wanting to live that quiet, simple life, and she was the sophisticated city girl. But why I've always had a soft spot for Aiden is that compared to Mr. Big, he was just a nice guy overall. Mr. Big was such a cad, a slippery rogue who strung Carrie along for years and years and years and then stood her up at the altar when they were supposed to get married the first time. If this was a real life situation and he hadn't have died, he would have effed things up eventually with her.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted her to end up with a nice guy. So that's why I've always been more on the side of Aiden in this reboot, and I felt she was fighting against it. I felt she was just self-sabotaging.
I just think her and Aiden are just too different at the end of the day. I don't know why it's taken them 3 goes to figure that out, but I do have a prediction. I think Lizette is going to contact Carrie and tell her that she's doing something fabulous, like moving to Paris or moving in with her boyfriend, and Carrie's apartment will suddenly become free again.
So the big townhouse doesn't suit her, but neither does the pokey old bed sit. Do you really want to go back to where you lived 30 years ago?
But she did have it remodeled. I think that apartment suits her more than an empty townhouse.
Okay.
So Also, this episode was only 29 minutes, and it mainly focused on Carrie and Aiden's breakup, so we will forgive them for sidelining everyone else.
Miranda only had one scene the entire time, but I did think it was actually well written for a change with her character.
Yes, so she was having Joy over for dinner and has to explain what happened to Joy's rare bottle of gin, and she starts making up these ridiculous excuses, but then decides to come clean. I was actually afraid this was going to lead to another breakup, but they actually ended up having a very real conversation, and they both were vulnerable.
Yeah, I like the drama scenes between them. At least she's not hiding this alcohol problem anymore. But I keep wondering what's going to break this pair up, because they will break up, but they seem really normal together. So what could possibly break them up?
Yeah, well, so like Carrie's townhouse, Miranda now has extra rooms. So this time it's to store Joy's emotional baggage, which I thought was cute. So I actually did date someone who was sober once, and I have to say it was really challenging. But that was back when I was in my 20s and out every night going to events. Like, have you ever had to try and date someone who's sober?
Yeah, I did actually date someone in my 30s who didn't drink, and I didn't like it because I like a drink.
Yeah.
Like, you know that I like wine. And you also see another dimension of a person after they loosen up after a few drinks. But I just felt whenever we went out, we were on different playing fields. Also, he was a vegan. Which was an absolute pain in the neck, because I'm a carnivore and I love meat. That's why I was worried about the steaks.
Exactly.
And I asked my therapist at the time whether him being a vegan and me not was a big deal. And she said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Food is a fundamental difference. Think of what a pain in the neck it will be cooking for him forever.
Yeah, I agree. The vegan
that was all I
thing.
needed, enough validation to actually dump his ass.
I say that's definitely a deal breaker. So Seema's deodorant storyline is still going, but there is good news because she is magically rich again. Woohoo! She now has this new office space because she has savings.
So why was she running around to all of the
Budget eyelash places?
Yeah. Well, she just had a bit of a panic.
It makes no sense at all.
Okay. Well, I thought it was odd too that she felt so embarrassed putting on roll-on deodorant waiting for the toilet in the hallway of that restaurant, because then a woman comes out and looks at her and gives her a sort of a funny look. But so what? Women are used to seeing other women fix themselves up.
Yeah.
Although I do recognise it was a comic moment, especially because they had some goofy music underneath it.
Yeah, well, I have a plot hole alert. So Seema has this gorgeous new office space and a new assistant. So her new assistant is this well-dressed man from London who used to work for Avi, who is the film director boyfriend, her ex. I thought that was weird. But this assistant also carries around a large Birkin bag. Huh? So it is very trendy for men to have Birkin bags now, but I am guessing this new fancy assistant doesn't come cheap.
But was it a Birkin or a Firkin, which is a fake one?
I'm guessing that he doesn't do fakes. He looks very polished.
Oh, okay.
So he's not like some young person trying to break into real estate. It's a very polished man who has uprooted his life in London to basically work for a startup. Okay, meanwhile, let's go over to Harry and Charlotte's, where they are both bedridden. They have turned into a 90-year-old couple. So Harry's still recovering from prostate surgery and reminds us he's dealing with 2 melons. Charlotte is still suffering from vertigo, which we have now established is a real thing.
Yes.
She's taken to her bed.
So the good news is Harry's now peeing without a catheter.
Too much information. TMI.
Why did they have to tell us? Charlotte falls over again, trying to clean up their messy room because their children who promised to step up and help them out have abandoned them. Harry isn't able to reach her in time because he can barely walk. They are a mess, but they're only 60. I mean, is their storyline just basically the Golden Girls now?
I know. Too many health problems. So the scene over at the Wexleys isn't much better. So Herbert's worried about his weight with the election coming up. Is this the most ridiculous political campaign ever?
I don't understand it.
I know. I didn't even know for sure what a comptroller was. It is the person in charge of the accounts, a nerd, a bean counter for the public funds. Who even knows who's running for comptroller when you're voting in an election? It's ridiculous. So he goes through the refrigerator and freaks out because there's cheese in the house and angel hair pasta. He can't be tempted.
So the word is comptroller?
Yeah, it can be comptroller or controller. Yeah.
Oh.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, like I take so little notice of this couple. I didn't even realize what position he was going for. I thought what he was going for was the equivalent here of a local councillor position. Do they have those in the US?
Yeah, like running for the local city council would make much more sense to me. And I have to say,
why do they complicate things in this show? Just make him a councillor.
Yeah, exactly. And there are 4 other humans living in this house. You know, they need to be fed and shouldn't have to suffer because of your ridiculous diet. And Lisa's running out to go to some function, and she tells him, just take Ozempic. So we have our first Ozempic mention on And Just Like That.
See, it's a shame none of the women appear to need Ozempic.
Yeah.
As I would like to see some kind of Ozempic storyline play out.
Well, so older women are now using Ozempic to lose all the weight they gained during menopause. So it would actually be a good storyline.
Yes, please do that, writers.
So we also have this dumb scene with Patty Lupone, who is still around, and Anthony. These characters are totally unnecessary. They add nothing to the show. And another plot hole alert. Why is Anthony living in a sad, rent-controlled old person apartment? Like, he was an event planner for high-maintenance Upper East Side brides. He had Liza Minnelli at his wedding. So I can't remember his place with Stanford, but I'm sure it was amazing. And Stanford left to become a monk, so Anthony would have gotten everything. This is not a gay man's apartment. It's the apartment of a sad shut-in.
So until you brought that all up, I didn't realize how ugly his apartment actually was. But now that you mention it, why he can at least decorate it nicely. A bit of floral wallpaper, flashy wallpaper. Maybe that's all he could afford.
I don't know.
I'm guessing he owns. He doesn't rent, or do you just have a rent control apartment?
Sure.
Oh, it was depressingly drab. I'm tired already of Patty Lapone and you're too old for my son's storyline. But does she have a point? Because Guiseppe is 29 and Anthony, as we found out in this episode, is 62.
I know.
I thought maybe the character was supposed to be around 57, but he's even older than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and just like that, that is all we have time for. Join us next week for our deep dive into episode 10.